Now, if you're looking for some relationship advice, my next guest is the lady to go to. She's Northern Ireland's leading relationship advice coach. She's Lisa McFarland. She just released a new ebook. We'll find out all about that because she's here. Lisa, how are you?
I'm good. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us. So tell us about this new ebook then. Tips and tricks to save your relationship, I believe.
Yeah, or just to have a healthy relationship. So I just believe that we need to educate ourselves on how to have healthy relationships. We educate ourselves on everything else, IKEA furniture, cooking, everything. And I want to take the shame and guilt away from asking for help around relationships. Let's educate ourselves on relationships, healthy conflict, our love life, all those sorts of things.
And I would imagine because of what we've all been through in the last 2 years with the pandemic, we probably need this advice more than ever before now.
Yeah, I think so. Whenever I learnt all this stuff, I just kept saying, why does everyone not know? Why does everyone not know? And then it absolutely went a little bit insane for me during the pandemic, in a good way, good way. People were just crying out for knowing more about their love languages, knowing more about their attachment style, and really learning how to do healthy conflict is really, really important.
So tell us about your journey then, because it was the pandemic that things really took off online for you, wasn't it?
Yeah, so this was my little side gig. This was my little thing that I was doing because my children were getting older, and I'd started running classes in my local area for women to help them with their confidence and communication and conflict styles. And then when lockdown came, those classes were not able to happen. And I cried and cried and cried. I am a life coach, so I know how to grieve. So I grieved within about half an hour, 45 minutes. And then I knew what was missing: purpose. So we need purpose in our life every day. We need something to get us up out of bed. We need purpose every single day. So my purpose then, I decided, like a mad woman, was that I would be on Instagram every morning at 10 o'clock, talking about all the things, taking away the shame and guilt, talking about all the things, talking about how we felt. So the first morning I got on, I still have the little post on my Instagram page and it's just so basic, it's unbelievable. And I got on and I said, I will be here every morning at 10 o'clock. 7 people watched. Well, I just thought I was you, Robin. I thought I was you. I just thought I was like the next big thing. I just thought, oh, I've made it. 7 people watched. This is the best thing ever. They were my family. So we got there. But then I remember that we told it was going to be 14 days. I was like, I have 14 days in me. In my back pocket, I have 14 days. And it wasn't 14 days. So after 14 days, we were devastated, but I kept going. And then people started to shout me out. And we have lots of beautiful influencers here in Northern Ireland. And these lovely ladies started shouting me out on their pages. And my numbers were going up. I had 500 people at the start of lockdown.
Wow.
I didn't really know how Instagram worked. So I kept bringing into my teenagers and going, these blue squares and this number up here, it's a thing. There's something happening. There's something. What is going on? And every time I would bring it to my teenagers, they were like, you've missed it. Someone is shouting you out. And I was like, shouting me out. That would be helpful if I knew what that was. Yeah. So then eventually we got figured out who it was shouting me out. And then I said, right, well, I'm just going to message them and say, thank you very much. And my teenagers were like, you can't be messaging them. And I was like, it says right here, message.
Yes,
so I'll just be doing that.
Yeah.
So I messaged them, just say thank you. Would you come on a live with me at 10 o'clock? And they all came on. Pat Divley is one of Ireland's leading life coaches. He came on. Jenny Keane came on. She's a sex therapist. And it just went mental. And I did 57 days in a row. And by the end, a couple of thousand people were watching. So I really was you then, Robin.
Yes, exactly.
By the end,
brilliant.
I really was then.
And the thing about you as well, you're so open and honest on the things as well. And I know yourself in your own marriage, you had to go and get some help at one stage, didn't you?
That's how this whole thing started for us. And we were madly in love. But we had a situation in our other business that we just didn't have the tools to deal with. And I remember being full of shame and guilt, and my husband as well, being full of shame and guilt, didn't tell anybody, didn't tell the babysitter, didn't tell anybody. And she just said simple things just like, what about you don't talk about work at home? And I was like, am I actually going to pay this woman money to tell me something that I could have been able to figure? But when somebody tells you, Robin, it's just different. And you just say, one, I'm paying her money, so I'm going to do what she's telling me. Simple wee things. And then she talked to us about our love language. How did we show up for each other? What were we doing to fill the relationship cup? So I would talk a lot about relationships are like a cup, and if we're not filling them with good things, they're just like an old cup of coffee lying at the side of the sink. We have to be putting in. And she was like, this thing that's happened to you guys, it's all consuming. So your relationship cup's empty. When did you have a date and not talk about this, you know? So I was like a dog with a bone. I was like, why does everyone not know? And at this stage, my husband and I were together 24 years. And we just learned this information.
Yeah.
And I was like, we need to get in earlier. We need to get in. People sometimes now buy coaching sessions from me for their friends who got engaged. I think that's beautiful. I think that's lovely. People have told me they bought the ebook for their friend who's just got engaged.
So is it good for people to get this advice right at the beginning of their relationship then?
We should be getting this advice when we're becoming adults.
Right, okay.
This should be advice we're getting through adolescence. This should be advice that we're getting. And one of the main pieces of advice I say, and it's not really about relationships, it's about the relationship with self. Loving and accepting ourselves, knowing that we have a great love that we want to share with somebody, and then finding someone to journey this lifetime with.
Okay, yeah. So what's your relationship with your husband like now then?
Awesome.
Yeah?
And we use the tools. Well, we joke, and there's a bit in the book about the tools, because when you forget to use the tools, it's worse.
Yes, yeah.
So I was a huffer for 25 years. That was my go-to. I was a huffer. And now when I feel like huffing, I'm like, oh, I can't even huff because I know I'm not allowed to huff. It's just worse than allowed to huff. And through the pandemic, for all couples, old programming showed up for lots. I'm going to say 99% of couples. Old programming showed up. Stuff that you've carried with you from your family of origin, stuff that you saw in other relationships, but it's not working.
Yeah.
And repeating and expecting a different outcome, first sign of insanity.
Okay, there'll be people watching this program right now. Okay, there'll be couples sitting at home. They've been married for many years. The husband is half asleep, half snoring on the settee at the minute. The wife's going, oh my God, Lisa, I need some help. Where does she start?
You can follow me on Instagram, relationship.coaching.ni. Buy the ebook. Buy the ebook. I also have a private life coaching and relationship coaching group that you can pay to join. It's £12. Free thing to do. Do your love language test on the web tonight. It's a free love language test. A gentleman who's a marriage counsellor in America for 30 years. It's free, 5 love language tests. Find out how your person receives love and how you receive love. What we do is we speak to our person how we want to receive love, but that's not how our person receives love. I have people tell me all the time, sure, I'm doing everything. I'm tidying up. I'm picking up the children. I'm doing everything. And the other person will say, I don't care. Yeah. You don't see me. I just want you to see me. So their love language is time and probably words of affirmation. And the person who's doing all the jobs, their love language is acts of service. They think they're speaking love, but they're not. Okay,
now when it comes to relationships, it's not just your love life we're talking about. Relationships with other people in your daily life, your work life, isn't it as well?
Yeah, 100%. And there's been reports done that the more healthy relationships we can have, all relationships, the more healthy we are with ourselves. You know yourself when you've had an argument with your work colleague or you've had to say this. So the more we can build our own confidence, the more we can put in healthy boundaries. Healthy boundaries in Ireland is a big issue. We're all people pleasing. We all burn ourselves out. Yes, I'll go to that. Yes, I'll do this. Healthy boundaries. Our own sense of self and what works for us and what makes us happy, filling our own cup first, and then serving everyone we're in relationship from that place of fullness. That's what we need to do.
And of course, as we found out, a lot of people were off work for like 2 years during the pandemic. So that whole communication thing, we really forgot how to communicate with people in work, didn't we?
Yes, and the anxiety going back to work now is huge, absolutely huge. And what's happened is we've all got into a forced comfort zone, or as I like to call it, stroke prison. We've all got into this, what we think, oh, okay, and we have to step into this river of fear to get to what we want. And this river of fear can feel horrendous, but sometimes it's only a puddle once you jump in.
All right, okay. The ebook is available now. Where can we get it from?
My website is relationshipcoachingni.com, and it's there to buy. Everything's there. It's a brand new, shiny website. So everything's there.
And will there be another book in the pipeline?
Oh, people keep mentioning to me. Yes, there will. Podcasts are next. Podcast the next thing, and then yes, a proper book, a proper paperback.
Brilliant. We look forward to that. Lisa, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you.